Excellence 2.0, a radical reimagination of charity sector support. You go to the next slide, Ian. Okay, so Charity Excellence, as you know it now, is the largest UK charity community. I'm sure you all know that. But some stats that you might not know is that we get 750,000 active website and visitors annually, which is a pretty staggering statistic, really. 100K weekly newsletter subscribers. I'm sure you all really love hearing Ian and his stories with the bunnies and all of the useful tips that you get in there. 50K registered users and 40,000 AI Bunny support sessions annually, and 5,000 registered online learners with our collaboration with Microsoft on the AI learning platform. If you haven't heard about that, then I would really recommend checking it out because it's so useful. And 62% of respondents rate us 10 out of 10 for trustworthiness, which we love. You can go to the next one, Ian.
Okay, let me just come out and admit people, because the things I can't admit people when we're on SlideShare. My apologies.
I've admitted people, sorry. Okay, so yeah, but we now live in a different world to the one that Charity Excellence was created in, and so we need to evolve with the times. And yeah, so we must do more currently because the charity sector is, as I'm sure you all know, struggling. Since 2020, there have been multiple crises that you've all been dealing with that Charity Excellence has tried our best to respond to, but income hasn't recovered and costs are rising and demand has grown hugely. Small charities are 95% of the sector, which I was so surprised to hear this before kind of, you know, like, I think before you work in the charity sector, it is just kind of the big names that you hear about and maybe the local ones in your area, but 95% of sector support is small charities, and they're suffering. But there are 600 plus infrastructure bodies, which, just in case anyone doesn't know what an infrastructure body is, they are a non-profit that helps other non-profits. So they don't provide services directly to the public. Their whole purpose is to help charities build capacity, represent them to, you know, like influence policy, and just to help with loads of different stuff. That part of Charity Excellence 2.0, my role in it has been to research and look into all of these infrastructure bodies, and so they're incredible. And you know, part of what we're doing here is to make them more known and to provide you with all the support that you need. But unfortunately, the situation could get much worse in autumn. You can go to the next slide, Ian. So this is why we are reimagining Charity Excellence. And I don't want anyone to panic here, because obviously I think we all really love Charity Excellence as it is now, but this, with our new plans, it will just get better and enable you guys to access more support. So we're going to be transitioning to a UK-wide social franchise that taps into and promotes the huge collective expertise of the sector and is accessible to and meets the needs of everyone. Because as I was saying, with the infrastructure bodies and all of you guys who work for charities, there is so much knowledge, and if we could just connect it, then, you know, there would be so much support, so much more support out there for everyone. And yeah, the aim is to help charities to survive in the beginning, and then to stabilize and eventually to thrive. So Ian has spent the last 6 months, or since I came on board really, which has allowed him to take the time to do this research. Not taking any credit. But yeah, so Ian has spent time listening to what you guys need, and 72% of you said that the right support would transform their impact. So really, there is a lot of hope if the solution is catered to what you guys actually need. But you don't want an AI-only solution, which completely fair enough. I think humans are absolutely necessary, and the human AI collaboration is where we can really make amazing things happen. But yeah, with an AI-only solution, too many people would be excluded, as it can be, people, I think, sometimes are nervous or scared of using AI, or literally don't have access to it. So yeah, funding is obviously the single greatest need. I think we can all, no one will be surprised by that. But all of the 8 upgrades we proposed, you guys were really happy with. So yeah, you can go to the next slide, Ian.
Okay.
I'm going to hand over to Ian now, actually, to run you guys through the data and kind of what he learned through his research.
Okay, right. Kate, could you hit mute all, and could you hit the admit button, as I haven't been able to get them? Perfect. So what we did is we came up with 8 things that we could potentially do to make our services better. And what came back slightly surprised us. I thought funding would be absolute top of the agenda, and it wasn't. It was about your needs and voices being better heard. It's about people promoting your work and making sure that people are aware of the brilliant work that you do. And that came through really, really strongly. Obviously, funding was in there, funding directories, but then promoting you to the media and the government. So the top stuff was really about small charities effectively being kind of ignored. You were also happy about free and low cost training, the free policy downloads going down very well. And promoting your revenue generating services. The small infrastructure charities, almost all the infrastructure funding flows to the large ones. The smaller charities, we know about the FSI and the Small Charities Coalition closing, but actually the little infrastructure bodies have been closing for years. Kent, Stronger Kent Communities, I spoke at their conference last year. They do brilliant work. They've just announced their closure. It's terrible. And these are the people that people really want. And then the bottom one was AI bots for websites. You've got to be careful when you interpret these, because not all of them apply to everyone. So what we saw in things like the promoting revenue is that a lot of the infrastructure bodies have paid membership, or they do community accounting, DBS, training, the consultancy, and the ones that work to earn revenue rated that really, really highly. But of course, there's a lot of infrastructure bodies don't do that kind of revenue generation, so they rated it more lowly. So when you see that one, for the people that do that stuff, it was really important, but other people it didn't apply to. AI is another one. People are understandably wary about it, and for some people have had bad experiences, so that kind of mitigates the response in there. But that has got a great deal of potential. So you just need to be a little careful. What did you see? The answer was functional support, which is absolutely great, because that's exactly what we do. You want the volunteering support, the fundraising support, the governance support. That was number one. But behind that, local infrastructure support, the CVSs, the volunteer centres, those are the people that people said they really wanted. And then there's a whole load of networks. So we've mapped them. There is everything in there. I've got Scottish coastal communities, so Dundee's on today. Your guys will be up there. We've got cat and dog homes. We've got the Jewish community, the Muslim community, the LGBT. And we've got women, we've got young people, we've got absolutely everything. And people are saying those kind of networks are really good. There's some brilliant ones out there. We've got them for museums. We've got them for the science centres. have their own little network. And what you've got is a group of people who are really expert in what they do. It's very, very niche and it's not well known, but they're really, really expert. And you can repeat that for libraries and just about anything. And those networks, often run by volunteers, holding real expert knowledge. People really, really valued that. What they didn't really go for were professional bodies for individuals and national infrastructure bodies. Yep, that's us. Charity Excellence rated at 16% at the bottom because we're a national. We're caught because the only way that you can deliver functional support in large volume to scale at very low cost is through digital and AI infrastructure. That's why Charity Excellence was built. It's the only way to do it. But what you said to us is, well, actually, that's not really what we want. That was a little bit of a challenge, and that is what led to Charity Excellence 2.0. So we're the largest and most trusted, but you want local or specialist delivery. You want the science centres, the libraries and people. You do not want an AI-only solution. And we've seen this for a long time. People really struggle coming into Charity Excellence. Part of it is the fact we've got absolutely no bloody money whatsoever. Our annual budget this year is £87,000 in total, and that includes Kate and I's salary. That's the biggest we've had. So we've never managed to do it, but that's the only way. And you also want capabilities that we don't have. I mean, we go out with Love Your Smalls. We do a lot of promotion for people out there. But are we connecting you to the media and government? Well, not really, to be honest. So we're going to give its existing capabilities, and we have got a lot of existing capabilities that people don't know about. And we're going to give that, we're going to add loads of new capabilities to create a package that gives you exactly what you want. And then we're going to give it away to everyone. There are 600 infrastructure bodies and specialist networks, and what we're going to do is we're just going to give it to them. And as everyone knows, I'm on the autism spectrum. I'm really boring. It does make me somewhat relentless. And over the last 2 years, I've been designing and building the data set. And so we have mapped 2/3 of the entire network. And I will show you how it works. And that enables us to connect absolutely anyone to the help they need. So if you are starting up, I don't know. So Kate starts up. She's very much into women's supporting women. So she decides she's going to start a charity for young black women in Leeds. How can I possibly get help? And the answer is there are infrastructure support in Yorkshire. There's infrastructure support in Leeds. There's support for women. There's support for young people. There's support for black people. The system will enable Kate to find all of those groups. And it works the other way round. So if someone in the media says, well, actually, I'd really like to talk to a particular charity in Leeds, they can go into the system, find the infrastructure charities in Leeds and go to them and say, I'm looking for a girls' footy team, I'm looking for a food bank, I'm looking for a refuge. And the infrastructure body will be able to say to the Daily Express or whoever, actually, you need to speak to these guys who are based over here. And the same with government. I get it. I had it from the NHS. They said to me, can you help us? I mean, yeah, all right. And they said, we hear you can talk to black people. And I was kind of like, well, I sort of speak to them and they talk back to me the same as everybody else. I'm not sure why this is an issue for anyone, but apparently it is. And I went out and I connected with an awful lot of the African groups that we have, and the NHS were absolutely ecstatic. It was organ donation, which is a big challenge for the community. But what will happen in the future, as I've had it from what was DFID, I've had it from HMRC, the NHS will be able to go in and say, we want to do some health information. How can we reach Muslim groups or black groups or African groups or whatever? And the system will go, here are the guys, and you can go and you can connect them. So you'll be plugged directly in, and suddenly all that niche expertise in the libraries and the science centres and everything will be accessible. They'll be able to find you. That's what we're planning to do. And it's not anything expensive. The charity sector is littered with white elephants, and there's no money, and we've certainly not got any money. But what we're doing, we're not building a UK-wide network. We're just joining the dots and making it visible to absolutely everybody. So actually joining the dots doesn't really cost anything. The bulk of the data set build is complete. We're 2/3 of the way there. Kate's now taking over, so it's obviously now being done much quicker and much better than done by me. And we're deploying existing capabilities like funding directories and things. So we're not building any new funding directories, we're just giving it to people, and we're building new ones. And we're using AI to build bots, and I can show you what that looks like. And it's our principle: do it once, do it well, give it to everyone. And what will happen is people like the CVSs, we will have a little mini app store thing. And the CVS will say, well, we'll have the funding directory. Yeah, we'll have the PR bunny. We'll have the due diligence bunny. And we'll have the gift aid thing. Gift aid, we failed to claim £500 million a year. If we put in that claim and we backdated it for 4 years, that's 2 billion. If we just applied for the tax reliefs that we're entitled to, the charity sector funding gap would disappear. But we don't. Why? We don't know we can apply. There's barriers in the way. We're not really sure of the rules. Wouldn't it be really good if someone built a system that went, this is who can register and how to register? These are all the nitty-gritty rules that you particularly need to know about. These are all the different types of gift aid you can claim. Gift aid, small donation schemes, widely, massively underused. Here's how to promote it within your charity. And here is an online system that will do it for you, including correcting the mistakes in your spreadsheets. It's nearly built. We haven't plugged it into HMRC yet. We haven't got the approval for what's known as an API. It's been done by a commercial company. They're doing it on a nice person basis. And one of the things we'll be able to do is to go out to the CVS and say, if you would like, we will put a gift aid button on your website. And suddenly, everyone will be able to apply for gift aid. We'll give you guys a little bit of training. You will become gift aid experts, and you will be securing loads of lovely loot for all our charities. I like that idea. I mean, government is in a difficult situation, but if we can rip 500 million out of them, I'm up for that, because they're certainly not going to hand it over as a matter of their own volition. So what we're doing minimizes all the bill costs. It doesn't really cost much because most of it already exists. It enables us to deploy it very rapidly. I can put Charity Excellence on your website tomorrow, really quite easily, and it doesn't cost anything. And this is the idea: really cheap, really simple. There is huge, huge capability within the sector. We just need to activate it. And the running costs will be very, very low. We're an enabler. We're not doing the work. We are not the experts. And what will happen is the CVS, with this stuff on the website, all the local communities can come in, and those that are able to will just help themselves to the funding finder and gift aid and whatever else they like. They just help themselves. So the CVS is now supporting many more people. Those people are able to find the CVS because we're making the CVS visible to everyone. And those groups that really, really matter to us, you know, the excluded groups within people like the LGBTI community, women's groups who are often pushed down to the end of the queue and who may not be comfortable around using things like technology, can speak to the CVS. Hi, I'm just setting up. I don't really understand safeguarding and things. Do I need a safeguarding policy? And the CVS team will have the expertise. Is this going to make anyone in CVS redundant? Are you joking? Of course not. What everyone said is it's the human bodies and the ability to talk to a human being that really, really matters to them. So the volunteer centres, are they all going to disappear because of this new RVS super AI thing? The bottom line is people want people. So what we are going to do is we're going to empower the volunteer centres. We will create volunteer to enter AI bots for you if you want. It's not a problem. We actually have a bot that does that right now. It's just that most people don't know about it. So what we're actually doing, we're not building anything new. We're tapping even more deeply into the huge collective expertise of the sector simply by making it findable and accessible to everyone. And then we're going to supercharge it by deploying our existing and new capabilities to anyone that wants them, basically. And how's that going to work? This is my righteous cycle. You've got to forgive me and stay with me on this one. I've got a master's in corporate management, so I do lapse into squeaky language sometimes, but fundamentally, we are going to promote you to everyone, and we're going to give you additional capabilities. So people will come into your website, they will be able to use the stuff on your website without any extra workload on you. Other people who would not otherwise be able to access the kind of capabilities we have will be able to speak to CVS. So you deliver support to more people, and you will be able to deliver better support because we'll be able to give you things like the gift aid tools that currently you don't have. That will help to reduce workload. And look at the policies. All of the CVSs, all those organizations writing their own policies and their own funding lists, we can create all that stuff for you. And what you do is you're using your expertise to help people understand what they need, how to use them, how to tweak them. That's where you add value. So we're reducing the workload by removing duplication of effort. We become better able to support each other. So what you see with a lot of these specialist groups is it's a bunch of enthusiastic people who've got together. I mean, I've got one of them, a BME group in London. They got 12 charities. That's it. They're a tiny little group. But the more people become aware of these groups, the more people join these groups. The more people join these groups, the more able they are to support each other because that collective knowledge gets bigger and grows. So people are able to support each other. We deliver increased income. We will have everyone gaining access to our funding systems, everyone being supported by the CVSs, by the toolkits and systems that we've got. For those CVSs, or for that matter, those charities or anyone renting out rooms, community accounting, DBS checks, training, there's all sorts of stuff that people sell. Well, what will be is a marketplace. So when the charity in your local area goes, I need DBS checks or I need training, where can I possibly get it? It'll go, well, does the CVS 2 minutes down the road can do all that stuff for you if you didn't know about them. And then the media and government. We're doing two things. We're making you findable by the whole world, but we're actually making you findable by the media and government. So I'm looking to do an article on Black groups in Yorkshire. Well, the system will plug you into Black groups or African groups or Muslim groups, if you prefer. It will plug you into people in Yorkshire so that media will be able to find you. The National Health Service, if they want to look at BME organ donation, will be able to come in and say, who are those groups that are connected and trusted by those communities? And they will make your voice heard by everyone. And we can also ask the system questions. So we can go into the system and say, where are the infrastructure bodies? How big are they? What services they do provide? What's their turnover? So when people like DCMS or the Charity Commission or NCVO, anybody that bloody wants to, can come in and say, can you tell me about the infrastructure network within the UK? How can we, as the people at the very top, better support that network and those people like NAVCA, NCVO, DCMS, all those kind of guys will simply be able to ask those questions, and the system will come back and give them that information so that the very limited resources and policy making that we get at sector level, it will work better because it will be based on really effective, credible data. So how long are we going to do that? Right. Well, I mean, what bots do you want? I've come up with a whole series of the bloody things, and I build my own mad things. but it only works if it works for you. To be honest, that's the only test we've got. So what we're going to be doing over the summer is I'm already talking to some CVSs, and we're happy to talk to other people. We're going to run a series of pilots. We're just going to dump stuff into your website, let you play with it. And we'll be giving some training we're giving AI training and support to people. Kate, because she's really good at this stuff, I got a company who are going to give people hands-on specialist AI training, and we're going to skill them all up. And I want to know two things out of this. One is, what does a use case look like? That is, how does a CVS or a volunteer centre or a library network or whatever, how can they best use this to get the most out of it for themselves and the people they support? The pilots will tell us what that looks like. So when we begin to roll it out, we know how to do it properly. And the second one is, we will be able to learn what kind of bots people say they want. And what we've done, and I will show you afterwards, the difference between a sophisticated bot that people struggle with that already exists and a very simple bot that absolutely anybody could use. So the idea is, instead of giving you the fabulous, famous, I've got this toolkit and it'll do everything you could possibly want, and none of them ever bloody do, we will deploy a whole load of different types, and you'll just come in and you'll use the one that you want. And it's really simple, so anyone can use it. So once we've done that, we then need to launch the UK data set. We need to tell Kate to work much harder. She's going to have to work across the whole of the summer, and that's going to disappoint her boyfriend, but never mind. So we need to complete the data set, and then we need to launch it. And we'll launch that with an AI bot. At that point, anyone who needs any kind of help whatsoever can come into the bot and say, can you tell me where I can get this? And the bot will go, yeah, sure, this is where it is. Then we begin to build the mini app store. We know what you want. We've got the data sets. We need to start building bits and pieces. And I've already built some, just as a practice thing. Then we'll have the app store. And then maximizing accessibility is called MCP. I can talk about that for a very long time. You would lose the will to live, I promise you. You would lose the will to live if you talk to me about MCP, model context protocols. But basically, that's chat to charity excellence. Or, to be clear, chat to your CVS. You land on the CVS and you go, hi, good morning, can I do this? And the system and the CVS will talk back to you. And when you get to the point where if you say, well, actually, I really need to talk to a human being, it'll say, okay, what you need to do, phone this number and ask for Steve, because Steve's the guy that helps people with funding applications. Oops. If we can get the funding, we have our own charity sector data store. If you've seen all the data that I push out on what's going to happen with fundraising and why it's going to be horrible in the autumn and stuff, that's it. We have 1 million data points. We have been tracking every aspect of charity sector performance since 2018. That's how we predicted the cost of living crisis and got it right. We used our data. And then we can move on to things called predictive analytics. I will start talking about economic libraries and APIs and stuff. It will then enable people to drop in and say what's going to happen to hospices in the coming year, and it can do scenario planning and stuff like that. So that's where it's all heading. We are launching. Oh, I hand back to Kate. Sorry, Kate.
Hi, sorry, I was just replying to people in the chat. So yeah, I'm sure you're all really excited. I hope you're all really excited about this plan. I think it's definitely the most exciting project that I've ever worked on in my career so far. But we do need your help to get this off the ground and to help everyone. So we have launched our crowdfunder, which you can donate to, or if you know anyone who could donate, any businesses or just any amount that you can spare, you can donate to that. We'll put the link in the chat. And yeah, so we are trying to raise 20,000. So yeah, if you could share it with anyone, donate yourself, share it on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever, then we would really appreciate it. Yeah, so with thanks to Access Insurance, who have supported us get grants, patient research, but patient, I think it's patients first research, but anyway, my mum also donated, which was very cute of her, and Ian did some weird vaccine trial to get £500 to put into the crowdfunder as well. So we currently have 2,800 out of our target of 20,000. So every little helps. If you guys could spare anything and share it, then yeah, please do.
Okay, so you're all sitting there and saying, we've heard all this nonsense before. You promise the earth. That's charity sector all over. How does that stuff work? Okay, let me show you. Eh? Sorry, we have high level security in the system because we get attacked all the time, unfortunately. We also have AI bunnies who sit behind the entry system. And so here is Help Finder. This is partly the data set we're building out. This people struggle. I launched this in 2022 as part of our response to the cost of living crisis. With 200, it's now up to 2,000. There are 28 search categories, and people get really confused by it. And I've had the upgrade for this has been sitting on my desk for 3.5 years. We've never had the money. And you look at that and go, well, oh yeah, great. And so what's fabulous about that? Okay, let me show you. So if we look at women, because Kate is looking with her women's group, and we do a search, and it's brought up 94 groups that support women. But Kate's in Leeds. But let's add Yorkshire. Let's not be problematic about this. Let's add the UK and add England and search. And what we have got is 51 entries. These are charities. There's things in here like period products, protection for women. There are women groups, but there are companies who support women. There are all sorts. And what we're looking for is we're trying to start our charity. So what we do is go to charity support and networks. We've got about 400. We've got 200 to do. So here's Kate with her women's group, Leeds, Yorkshire, in England. And here are 9 organisations who will support women. And you can look through those and say, who amongst these would actually suit me best? That's okay. Well, that was useful. But what else have we got? So let's take that out. Let's see who's around in the local area that can support Kate. And we've got 20. All the community action groups. Now, they don't all apply to her because obviously she's not in Bradford. I'm Scottish, but even I know Leeds isn't in Bradford. So let's see what we've got in Leeds. We've got the Community Consortium. We've got Yorkshire Funders. We haven't got a CVS. That's interesting. Maybe I haven't done that properly. But then, of course, you might think, well, actually, I'm working with young people. What young people groups could help me? And there are 9. And we're working with African people. And we've got 2. Ubeli. Avocado haven't come up. I'm not quite sure why. And so what you can do is you can find all the different kind of people who can help you. And the system will do that. Ethnic groups, age groups, funders, all sorts of stuff. And what you will be able to do is you will be able to talk to a bot and you'll just say to the bot, this is what I'm doing, who can help? And the bot will go and get these for you. For those of you who are worried about things like ethics, the bots when they're running on our data sets are not burning energy because they don't use an LLM, they use our tiny little data set. And they also do not hallucinate and they're not biased because they've been given very explicit instructions on how they are to operate and behave. It's a bit complicated, but actually they will not mislead you. This is Mini Ding. He's currently in his air-conditioned house. This is Help Finder AI. This is agentic AI. It's extremely powerful, but the problem is it's too bloody clever. So people don't know what it's able to do. So we've taught it how to bring people on. But often the people that work for us or come to us don't actually know what they need. So if you don't know what you need and you don't know what the bot does, you can kind of really struggle to make the bot work in the way you want it to. And this is why, and we've really struggled. And this is why the big super one size fits all UK national AI magnificent thing doesn't really work. But if I look at volunteering, for example, can you write me a job description for a bunny foster volunteer? And so what he's now doing is he's now going and consulting agentic web pages that you can't see. There is a hidden Charity Excellence website. The hidden Charity Excellence website has all this kind of stuff, and it speaks bot. And there you go. If you need a bunny fosterer, there's exactly how to go about it. Health monitoring, socialization, transport. And you could ask about virtually any volunteering role description that you would like. Write me a volunteer agreement for a bunny charity. And it will go off and write you an agreement. Or you could have a policy, or you could have this, or you could have a code of conduct. It will do all of that. And so if you're in a CVS and people come in and say, I'm setting a bunny charity up, you can go in and you can download the animal rehoming policy, the animal welfare policy. You can write all the job descriptions for all the people that might be into the charity. You can do all of that kind of stuff. But that's really complicated. So what we need is something that isn't complicated. This is AI Press Release Bunny. And he works for me. And I'm on the autism spectrum, so my press releases are genuinely really, really, really awful. And I never get anyone listening to me. I run the girls' football team in Leeds, and we've just won the Charity World Cup. Kate was our top goal scorer. We won 4-2 in extra time. Right, press. So you don't need to understand press releases. You don't need to speak good English. So if your educational attainment isn't great, doesn't really matter. What it's looking for is facts and data, and you know those. So the first thing the bunny will do is assess whether it's press release worthy stuff. And he's going, yep, this is worth, you've won the cup, Kate, you're in the news. What's missing is these kind of thing. So you can put that in, post-event release. There is your press release. It's very short because you've only given it a tiny amount of information. If you gave it more information, it would write a proper press release. And then there's an email to send to them, and there's your guidance on follow-up. It's good, isn't it? And that's how I write Charity Excellence press releases. And so what we do is, you know, my press release, I will write about a page worth of information and stuff. I will drop it into Press Release Bunny, and Press Release Bunny will write me a press release and all the analysis and everything. And if you're running the ladies' footy team in Leeds, this is great. So either people will come into the Leeds CVS and just use it because they can, or they'll come in and talk to Leeds CVS and say, how do I get in the local newspaper? And then Leeds CVS can actually just fill the information, get all the information out of them, press the button, and the bunny will write absolutely everything. This is Copilot, this one. What we will be doing is we will be exporting bots. So this is me building them within Copilot, which is what I use because I want to test the systems. I want to see, does this stuff actually work in the way I want it to? Here, for example, is Due Diligence Bunny.